Level 1. The Clerk. You are 19 years old. It's 6:58 on a Friday night in October, and you're pulling a blue and yellow polo over a t-shirt you didn't have time to change out of in a stockroom that smells like cardboard and carpet cleaner. 6 weeks ago, you were still deciding between community college and nothing. Tonight you have a name tag that just says Danny, no last name, not policy, just an oversight nobody bothers to fix, and somehow it stays that way for years. Your first customer returns 3 tapes and wants to argue about a late fee. You don't argue. I can waive one of them, you say, because that's the script, and you haven't earned the right to improvise yet. A girl in a flannel shirt rents Reality Bites at 9:40 and accidentally leaves a mixtape in the return slot, tucked inside somebody else's case. One name is written on it, misspelled Danny, no N in handwriting that slants hard to the right. You don't know her yet. You don't know you'll marry her in 5 years, or that you'll keep this tape in a drawer for the rest of your life without ever once throwing it out, even after the ink fades to almost nothing. The register drawer sticks. You learn to hit it with the heel of your hand. Nobody claps when a clerk shows up on time and rewinds every tape before it goes back on the shelf. Nobody notices at all. That's the part you're not ready for yet. Level 2. The Weekend Closer. 4 months in, they move you to Friday and Saturday closes more hours, worse sleep, a set of keys that makes you feel, for one ridiculous second every night, like someone important. A woman named Denise trains you on receiving that same month, tearing open shipment boxes with a box cutter she keeps clipped to her belt like a sidearm. Rewind before it goes back. Don't argue the fee, just offer to waive one. If somebody says the movie was bad, ask what they liked instead. She's been doing this 6 years already. You don't fully understand why that number should scare you. You will, eventually. The store goes quiet at 11 o'clock in a way that feels almost wholly fluorescent light over 1,000 plastic cases, the popcorn machine ticking as it cools. Jules starts coming in on Thursdays now, on purpose, pretending to browse new releases for 20 minutes before admitting she's just there to see you. You don't tell her yet that you kept the tape. You will, the way you tell someone a truth you've already decided doesn't scare you anymore. Level 3. The Senior Clerk. 2 years in, you're the one training new hires, mostly repeating Denise's 4 sentences to 17-year-olds who roll their eyes the same way you probably did. You're good at this. Quietly good, not the kind of good anyone writes up in a review, just the kind regulars notice, asking for you by the register instead of your name. Spring brings the wedding small, in Jules's aunt's backyard, 2 days off that the schedule board somehow forgets and has to reprint. You go back to work the Tuesday after your honeymoon like nothing happened, because that's what the job asks, and you're still young enough to give it without flinching. Level 4. The Shift Lead. 3 years in, they make you shift lead a small raise, a walkie that never stops crackling, 6 people under you, half of them 19. One of them, a kid named Marcus, reminds you of yourself at that age, nervous, capable, not sure if capable is the same thing as ready. You teach him Denise's 4 sentences and add one of your own, something you didn't know you believed until you heard yourself say it out loud. Some things you rewind, some things you just let play. He doesn't understand it yet. Neither did you at 19. Mia is born that October. 31 hours at the hospital. Back at the store 48 hours later because somebody has to run the truck night, and this week that somebody is you. You hold your daughter for 4 minutes before your mother-in-law takes the overnight shift and you take the one at work. You don't resent it. You just feel it, the way you feel a low-fuel light you're not ready to deal with yet. Level 5. The Assistant Manager. 5 years in, you make Assistant Manager. DVDs arrive by then, sleek little discs that don't need rewinding, and half your shift is spent explaining to regulars why the new format costs more to rent. VHA shrinks from 4 aisles to 2, then 1, then a clearance bin by the door. Nobody announces it. It just happens. The way a coastline erodes, you don't see the tide come in. You only notice one day the shoreline moved. By her 2nd birthday, Mia rides in the cart seat every Sunday, sitting quietly with a stuffed rabbit while you do inventory, because Jules picks up weekend diner shifts now and someone has to watch her. She learns to say rewind before she learns to say grandma. Whether that's something to be proud of or something to apologize for later, You decide it's probably both. Level 6, the store manager. 7 years in, you run the whole store, 19 employees, a profit and loss statement with your initials on the bottom line, a district visit where the regional director walks the aisles for 6 minutes and says, "This is the cleanest store in the district." 6 words. It's more than you expected. DVD finishes eating VHS that same year. A whole weekend goes to converting the back wall, boxing up 2,000 tapes that customers once lined up for on Friday nights, and something in your chest does a thing you don't have a word for yet. 4-year-old Mia helps, which mostly means placing exactly 1 tape in a box before getting distracted by the bubble wrap. You let her. Some Saturdays are for the store. This one, quietly and without either of you noticing, becomes hers instead. Level 7, the district trainer. 9 years in, corporate sends you company-wide to train new managers 3 stores a month, teaching 24-year-olds the same sentences Denise taught you a decade ago with a box cutter and a raised eyebrow. You never tell them where you first heard it. That same year, you fire someone for the first time, a woman named Carla, 41 years old, 2 kids, caught taking $20 a week from the register over 2 months. You do it by the book, door closed, no raised voices. She just says, "I know," and leaves. You think about her for a week. Jules notices you're distracted at dinner and doesn't ask why. Some weight isn't hers to carry. Redbox kiosks start appearing outside grocery stores that winter $1 a night. No membership, no human being required. A customer chooses the kiosk over your counter for the first time, and you don't say anything because there's nothing to say. The shoreline moves again. Level 8, the regional trainer. 11 years in, you oversee 40 stores across 3 states. Streaming has a name people actually say out loud. Now Netflix isn't a red envelope in the mail anymore, it's a red icon on a television. A memo about market evolution makes its way around the office, and everyone reads it twice looking for the sentence that says what it actually means. Nobody finds it. It just closes stores, region by region, the way a body shuts down a limb it can no longer feed. 9-year-old Mia stopped riding along on Sundays that spring, not because you ask her to, but because there's a soccer team now, and a best friend's house, and a life that no longer orbits a strip mall. A text from Jules tells you she made the travel squad while you're 2 states away training somebody else's staff. You keep that text open at every red light on the drive home, reading it like it might say something new the 4th time. Level 9, the senior regional manager. 14 years in, you're overseeing what's left 9 stores, down from 40, down from the 100 plus the region had when you started. 3 of them close on your watch that year. You sign the final paperwork alone in empty buildings at 9 o'clock at night, under lights nobody bothers to dim, listening to your own footsteps on carpet worn flat by 20 years of Friday nights. 13-year-old Mia asks you once, on the drive to school, if you're sad about the closings. You think about it longer than she expects. Sad's the wrong word, you tell her. I miss some Fridays. I don't miss the fee arguments. She doesn't fully understand that yet. You didn't either, at 19. Some answers only make sense once you've lived long enough to need them. Level 10, the last store standing. You're 41 years old, and you've worked a version of this job for 22 years, 6 promotions, 4 states, thousands of names you'll never remember, and a handful you never forgot. Corporate closes the last store in the region today, and you're the one who has to be there for it. The aisles are half empty on your final walk through a clearance sign nobody updated, a popcorn machine unplugged for the last time in its life. 1 promotional VHS tape sits behind the counter, never collected, and you rewind it out of habit more than purpose. Be kind. Rewind. You said it so many times it stopped being a slogan years ago and became something closer to a prayer. Mia shows up at 6 o'clock unannounced. The way she used to bike over after school, taller than you remember every single time, like your mind refuses to update the file. She finds you behind the counter boxing up the last of the register drawers and hands you something without much explanation. A cassette, the label almost illegible now, 1 name on it, misspelled. Danny, no N, found it in Mom's closet, she says. Figured you'd want to be the one to pack it. There's no deck left in the building to play it on, hasn't been for a decade. That was never the point. It was never about what was on the tape. It was about someone 22 years ago thinking of you before you even knew her name. The final box of paperwork includes the transfer forms for your last check, and for the first time in 22 years, the line at the top isn't blank. Daniel Reyes, Regional Closeout Manager. A last name finally after 2 decades of just Danny on a plastic tag. You tape the mixtape to the inside lid next to nothing else because it never needed company. Some things you rewind, some things you just let play. You didn't understand that at 19, you do now. Nobody claps for the last man to lock a door that used to matter to a whole town on a Friday night. Nobody notices at all most days. But someone always did. You just had to work long enough and lose enough to finally see it.